my name is Kate and welcome to my 2023 TBR. Welcome to my channel. This is my first YouTube video. I am a full-time employee currently at Google, and I am also a part-time English literature student. I'm completing a continuing education degree through the University of Oxford. I have been reading since I was a little girl. I absolutely love reading. I love books. I am a massive book collector, and I wanted to share my love of reading with you guys. So the books that I have chosen for this year, for 2023, I have quite an ambitious number of books that I want to read this year. The idea behind my TBR is to keep myself accountable to read as many books as I want to read this year. These books that I have chosen are not academic books. If you would like to see what I will be reading as a part of my University of Oxford English Literature course, please like and subscribe, as that will be the next video. So let's dive right in. I've divided my books into 3 categories: short books, medium books, and long books. Short books are any books that are 250 pages or less. Medium books are any books that are between 250 and 500 pages, and large books are 500 pages or more. As you will see as we go through this list, I have picked a lot of short books. And the reason for that is that I want to try and get through as much of my TBR shelf that I possibly can. So just to mention that what I've tried to do when formulating this TBR is to bring in as many books from different genres as I can. I definitely haven't hit every single genre, but I have included non-fiction books, historical fiction books, one thriller, which will be interesting to see because I'm not generally a thriller reader, and a lot of contemporary books, as well as a fair few award-winning books as well, and a lot of translated books, which I absolutely love. You will get to understand that anything that is translated for me is just really amazing. I don't know why I'm going through a translated phase at the moment. So let's dive straight into it, into the short book length. The first book that I have here is Ice by Anna Kavan. This beautiful penguin edition is absolutely stunning, and I will just read the blurb. Set in a frozen world that is gradually being devastated by ever-encroaching ice, Anna Kavan's masterwork follows one man's pursuit of a mysterious silver-haired girl to the end of the earth, to the end of everything. The next book on the short category list is this beautiful book, The Death of Vivek. I hope I'm saying this right. This is the story of an overprotective mother and a distant father, and the heart-wrenching tale of one family's struggle to understand their child, just as Vivek learns to recognize herself. Teeming with unforgettable characters whose lives have been shaped by Vivek's gentle and enigmatic spirit, the death of Vivek Oji shares with us a Nigerian childhood that challenges expectations. The next one, very, very short little read here, is The Broken Wings by Khalil Gibran, a Lebanese author. My father is Lebanese, so he picked this up for me while he was in Lebanon. And it is, The Broken Wings is a tale of tragic love set in turn-of-the-century Beirut. The book highlights many of the social issues of the time in the Eastern Mediterranean, including religious corruption, the lack of rights of women, and the weighing up of wealth and happiness, and is probably inspired from Gibran's own personal experiences. Very excited for that. The only non-fiction book that I have in this list is The Vagabond Spirit of Poetry by Edward Clarke. Edward Clarke is one of my professors at the University of Oxford, and this book demonstrates that poems are vital now more than ever because they can transform our relations with each other and with the earth. It acknowledges the awesome power of poems by providing you with a fresh way to apprehend their profound spiritual insights. this just looks really, really fantastic, and yeah, very excited for that. The next book that we have on this list is Whereabouts by Jhumpa Lahiri. And this book, I'm so excited to say, was a gift from my good friend Anne. So it's got her beautiful little note in there for Christmas. And this woman, the blurb says, the woman moves through the city alone. She moves along its bright pavements. She passes over its bridges, through its shops and pools and bars. Sometimes her steps take her to her grieving mother, sealed off in her own solitude. Sometimes they take her to the station, where the trains can spirit her away for a short while. Now, this is a fascinating translation. It was originally written in Italian by the author and then translated by her into English. So, oh my goodness, so excited for that one. The next book on the short list is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Absolutely adore this cover. How gorgeous is that? The Virago editions are so beautiful, and I love that they only publish women writers. It just makes me very, very happy. Most people should be aware of this book. It's quite popular. When at 16, Janie is caught kissing shiftless Johnny Taylor. Her grandmother swiftly marries her off to an old man with 60 acres. Janie endures 2 stifling marriages before she finally meets the man of her dreams, who offers not diamonds, but a packet of flowering seeds. I mean, even that blurb is just lyrical. I cannot wait to dive into that. The next book on my list is The Lonely Londoners by Sam Selvon. Beautiful Penguin Modern Classics version. This is about the Windrush generation, and also a gift from my friend Anne. At Waterloo Station, hopeful new arrivals from the West Indies step off the boat train, ready to start afresh in 1950s London. Just, I cannot wait for that. Next book that we have is the winner of the Man Booker International Prize of 2019, Celestial Bodies by Jokha Alharthi. Absolutely beautiful. I love this cover so much. I think it's so profound. In the village of Alharthi in Oman live 3 sisters. Maya marries after heartbreak. Asma marries from a sense of duty. Kalwa rejects all offers while awaiting for her beloved, who has immigrated to Canada. Elegantly structured, Celestial Bodies is a story of the history and people of modern Oman, told through one family's losses and loves. Incredible, absolutely incredible. The next one I have is the winner of the Man Booker International Prize 2016. So we've got 2 Man Booker Prize winners here, and this is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. I think a lot of people would have read this book, or at least have heard of Han Kang. She's very, very well known. And this is a darkly beautiful modern classic about rebellion, eroticism, and the female body. One of the most extraordinary books you will ever read. I am 100% sure it will be. And it's got this gorgeous metallic cover to it. So pretty. I'm so excited. And lastly, on the short book category is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I wanted to read this last year for Halloween. I didn't get round to it, and so I'm going to attempt to read it this year for Halloween. Those who know me know that scary books, horror books, thriller books are not my piece of cake. I don't generally enjoy them, but I am very, very excited to read this. It's got this beautiful penguin cover. I absolutely adore this. And these beautiful broken page, and I can't remember what you call them, bezel pages or something like that. They're absolutely gorgeous. So the plan is to read this during the month of October for Halloween. Another one of the short books that I am reading this year, which I have actually already read and I've given on to my friend Kaylin, the redhead academic, is a collection of Jane Austen stories, The Watsons, Lady Susan and Sanditon. I'll put a picture up here of it. I've read this book already. I read it on my way to New York to meet the Accepted girls, and it was absolutely brilliant. I'll have a review of that coming up soon. So, moving on to the medium length books. The first one that we have got is an Irish author. I'm really not going to try and butcher this name because I will butcher it, but this is Thin Places, and this is the most beautiful cover as well. This book I found from my secondhand bookstore, if you can believe it, and it is actually signed by the author. So it's so beautiful. It's got such meaning to it. Thin Places is a mixture of memoir, history, and nature writing. Kerri explores how nature kept her sane and helps her heal, how violence and poverty are never more than a stone's throw away from beauty and hope, and how we are, once again, allowing our borders to become hard and terror to creep back in. Kerri asks us to reclaim our landscape through language and study, and remember that the land we fight over is much more than lines on a map. It will always be ours, but at the same time, it never really was. I mean, really, isn't that just incredible? So excited. The next book that we have is The Book of Nart by Tsitsi Dangarembag. She is a Zimbabwean author. I read her first book, Nervous Conditions, last year, and I wrote an essay on it. Her writing is really incredible. It really draws you in, and I absolutely loved it. So this is the second book in the trilogy of that series. As Zimbabwe fights for independence, Tambudzai embarks on her second year at the Young Ladies College of Sacred Heart. Determined to excel, Tambu exhausts herself in her efforts to climb to the top of the school's honor roll. The further she pushes herself, however, the further she feels from any reward. The roots of colonialism threatening to trip her at every step. The sequel to Nervous Conditions is as moving, darkly witty, and riveting as its predecessor. Can't wait. I'm so excited. The next book that we have is The Promise by Damon Galgut. This was the winner of the 2021 Booker Prize after it became the Booker. And this is set in South Africa, which is where I was born, and I'm very intrigued to read this account of South Africa. On a farm outside of Pretoria, the Swarts are gathering for Ma's funeral. The younger generation, Anton and Amor, detest everything the family stands for, not least their treatment of the black woman who has worked for them her whole life. So this is just, I'm so excited to dive. I've said that about every single book, but I am really excited to dive into all of these books. I wish I could read multiple books at once. I can maybe manage 2 or 3 at a time, but no more. The next book that we have on the medium list is this medium? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, the next book we have is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. Now, I read this book while I was in South Africa. I finished this book in 2 days flat. It was absolutely incredible, and I have a review coming up, so please stick around for that, but I highly recommend it. Medium read we have is If on a Winter's Night a Traveller by Italo Calvino. This was a book recommended to me by one of my lecturers. It was one of his favorite books, and it's a very intriguing book because it's written in the second person narration, so the book is talking directly to you, which I find completely fascinating. And I also meant to read this last year, never got around to it, so it returns to this year's 2023 TBR. Next book is The Lost Children Archive. I also have just finished this. I finished it on my holiday to South Africa. This book is haunting. It stayed with me so much. The author, Valerie Lucelli, is so creative. I don't want to say any more because I will be doing a review on it, but absolutely amazing book. Very, very excited. Another Irish read for us, A Ghost in the Throat. Again, I'm not going to try and pronounce this author's name. All the authors and the titles of the books will be linked in the description box below. In the striking, inventive prose debut, we have sculpted essays and autofiction to explore the deep connection between two writers that are centuries apart. In the 1700s, an Irish noblewoman, on discovering that her husband has been murdered, drinks handfuls of his blood and composes an extraordinary poem. In the present day, a young mother narrowly avoids tragedy. On encountering the poem, she becomes obsessed with its echoes in her life and sets out to track down the rest of the poet's story. This I actually saw being promoted quite a bit when I was in London, and I picked up this book again from my secondhand bookstore a full year, I think, before I saw it being promoted. So I think it's finally getting the traction that it deserves. So very, very awesome book. Final medium read book is Getting Lost by Annie N. Rowe. This book, well, Annie N. Rowe, if you're not aware, she won the Nobel Prize for Literature last year, and she's a French author, so all of her work is translated from French. And I'm obsessed with Fitzcarraldo books. You will see this as we go through, not this book, but if you stick around my channel, you'll see plenty of Fitzcarraldo editions. Absolutely love them. And Getting Lost also, this book is just, it's so beautiful. I love it. It has been signed by Annie N. Rowe. I found this in Daunt Books when I was in London, and it is the diary that Annie N. Rowe kept during the year and a half she had a secret love affair with a younger married man, an attaché to the Soviet embassy in Paris. Yes, 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 yes. A million times yes. Oh, gosh. Medium reads out of the way, we have got two large reads that we will be looking at for the 2023 TBR. First one is Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee. I think most people would know about this book. It's so incredible. I started reading it last night and I did not want to put it down. I really did not. I managed to get through about 100 pages. I got about 100 pages in, maybe a bit over 100 pages. And yeah, just a bit over 100 pages. And I am already obsessed with this book. It is so engaging. I am so excited to continue reading this. So, and then last, certainly not least, Babel by R.F. Kung. I think everyone on social media has either read this book or seen it, and it's just so cool, right? I think the fact that it's set in Oxford also just makes me really, really happy to read it. And for those that haven't read this book, I'll just read the blurb. The city of dreaming spires. It is the center of all knowledge and progress in the world. At its heart is Babel, Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, the tower from which all the power of the empire flows. Orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious garden, Robin Swift thought Babel a paradise until it became a prison. Exciting stuff. Very, very cool. All right, everyone, that is my 2023 TBR list finished. I will leave all of these titles and a link to my Goodreads and my StoryGraph down below in the description box. If you want to read along with me, please feel free to reach out. We could do a little buddy read. And yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you like to see this kind of content, anything that's book related or academia related, please, please, please support a YouTuber. Like and subscribe and comment, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.